Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be ranking all of the 20 Minecraft major updates up to this point. First, I just want to go over a couple of opening remarks. A huge credit goes out to the Minecraft wiki. I use them for about 99% of the info and many different pictures. Also, this video is all about Minecraft Java Edition, so sorry any Bedrock watchers. The video is going to be entertaining either way. Real quick, I just want to say that I don't think any of the updates are bad, just some of them are more interesting. If I've got anything big or made a mistake in my facts, don't hesitate to comment. I'll try my best to respond to it. And finally, I also want to credit BB Switzer on YouTube for uploading the gameplay in the background that will be on for the whole video. After this, let's just get straight into the rankings. Okay, coming in at dead last 20th place is update 1.2.1, created on March 1st, 2012. This update did not feature nearly anything, and that's why it was coming last place. Iron golems, jungle biomes, and mineshafts were the only things that were really added that are still of interest today. This is going to be a trend for the first like 3 or 4, where the only reason they're ranked so low is because there isn't anything added to them, just a couple things. Alright, now in 19th place is 1.1, which was released on January 12th, 2012. The only reason that it just scrapes by 1.2 is because it just has a little bit more stuff, and the stuff that is added is more useful. Beaches, spawn eggs, and Superflat were added, along with more languages. But there really wasn't anything huge added, which is why it comes second to last. And now at 18th place, we have 1.6.1, the horse update. And as you could probably guess, horses were added to the game. They could only be bred using golden carrots and golden apples, as well as donkeys and mules. The reason this is at 18 is because, again, there wasn't much to it. Obviously, horses are a big part of survival, but that was really all that was added, along with a couple items. Horse armor, hay bale, carpet, lead, and name tag were all added. Coming in at 17th place, we have 1.11, also known as the exploration update. The reason this is at 17 is because there wasn't anything huge added. There was obviously the Totem of Undying, Illagers, Evokers, and Vindicators, and the Woodland Mansion with everything that comes with it. But other than that, the update was kind of stale, with the only other mentionable thing being llamas added. And at 16th place, we have the first modern update 1.15, also known as the Buzzy Bees update. Remarkably, bees were added, and along with them came honeycombs and beehives. Some fans of Redstone might know that the block of honey came out, which was very important to Redstone as it didn't interact with the slime block at all, which made things like moving machines a lot easier to do. At 15th place is the 1.10 update, the Frostburn update, and this is the first update that I consider to be good and have a good amount of stuff in it. In the nether bricks, nether warts, and magma blocks were added, while in the cold, polar bear and husks were added, as well as strays, and finally ice spikes and fossils were added. And coming at 14th place, we have 1.7.2, also called the update that changed the world. And after researching, I really don't know why it's called that. The two main things added in this update were biomes and flowers, as sunflowers, tulips, and roses were added, as well as the mesa biome, savanna, taiga, birch forest, flower forest, and deep ocean. Again, this is an update with a good amount of stuff, and it affects how you play survival with more and more biomes, making the world more unique. Coming in at the unlucky number 13 spot, fittingly, we have the pretty scary update 1.4.2. A ton of new hostile mobs were added that are in traditional Minecraft still. Wither skeletons, witches, bats, and zombie villagers were some mobs that were added, as well as command blocks, beacons, item frames, carrots, and anvils were items and blocks that were added. And for the most part, all of these still function in the exact same way as they were intended to all the way back then. Now at 12th place, we have update 1.0.0, and really you can't call it an update because it was the official release. I debated whether to put this in the video, but I decided to. It deserves some credit, obviously, for being the very first edition of Minecraft, but I just didn't really know where to put it. In terms of stuff that was added that you guys would care about, hardcore, enchanting table, the end, and breeding were added. The reason I say added is because you guys have to remember that there was a bunch of beta and alpha before that, so many of the things we know today were added back then. At 11th place, we have 1.8, the Bountiful update. And the reason it ranks so high is just because of the sheer amount of stuff that was added. It made Minecraft so much more customizable. Diorite, granite, andesite, coarse dirt, Prismarine, Slime Block, and Barriers were added, as well as the mobs that were Endermite, Rabbit, Guardians, and Elder Guardians. And as you guys probably know, the Elder Guardian and regular Guardian were added and put inside of the new Ocean Monument that was added in this update. Now we are exactly halfway through the list, and we have 1.12, the World of Color update. This update introduced many more colors, such as more colored beds, and also concrete and terracotta added in all 16 colors. In terms of mobs, the Illusioner and Parrot were the only two that were added. Overall, this is a good update, even though it doesn't have as much stuff as some of the other ones that are going to be ranked higher on this list. Alright, these last 9 updates that I'm going to rank are considered above average, at least to me. This one may get some hate, but it's just because of recency bias, and it's 1.19, coming out on June 7th, 2022, the Wild update. It's the most recent update as the release of this video that will soon change, as 1.20 is coming very fast. The Mangrove Swamp biome was added with mangrove plants and roots. Mud also spawns in this biome, something that has never been in Minecraft up to now. The Deep Dark biome, which I haven't even seen because I don't even play survival. I haven't updated since 1.18. It includes Skulk Vein, Shrieker, and Catalyst, and this Deep Dark only spawns under mountains below y=0. An interesting recovery compass added, which points to the player's recent death to go get your stuff back. And then the Alley, Frog, Tadpole, and Warden were mobs added in this recent update, along with a new boat with chest, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Ancient cities were also added that spawned in the Deep Dark biome. 8th place, 1.3.1. This is a very early update, the last early one. The reason it's this high is simply because trading was added. And you guys know how big trading is in survival Minecraft. Everyone has those villager farms where they can buy anything they want with emeralds. Obviously trading added, villagers were given professions, and then what they sold based on those professions. Desert and jungle pyramids were added. And that just about wraps up 8th place. Some of you guys might be surprised to see it up this high, but personally, I see it that way and I believe it, and this is my video. Now at 7th place, we have 1.5, and similar to the last one, once I say the name, it'll be pretty self-explanatory. This was the Redstone update. It didn't completely introduce the concept of redstone, but it introduced all the redstone related blocks we know today, such as the redstone block, daylight sensor, comparator, and just many more. And it also revamped the whole redstone system. I've never been into redstone myself that much, but I just put it up this high because it is a very big part of Minecraft today. Coming in at our 6th spot is update 1.17, and I want to say first that if Caves and Cliffs would have been combined, they would have been definitely top 2, maybe even top 1, but since they were apart, I had to rank them lower. Some features got pushed off, like I just said, but in 1.17, Amethyst clusters, dripstone caves, and lush caves were added as new biomes inside of caves, obviously. Copper ingot and ore added, kind of underwhelming because they didn't end up doing much, no tools or armor. As usual, I'll go over the mobs real quick. Axolotl, glow squid, and goat were added. Obtaining gold and iron ingots was different now. Instead of just mining and getting the ore, you would get a raw iron or raw gold piece. They still function the same as the ore blocks. If you smelt them, then you get the ingots. Barely cracking the top 5, we have 1.13, update aquatic. If I'm being completely honest, it's basically even with the next one, but I'll explain that later. Tons of important things like cave air versus void air were added. Obviously, the ocean biome was heavily changed. The conduit, coral, kelp, seagrass, sea pickles, turtle eggs, and trident were all added to make the ocean more fun to be in. In terms of mobs, turtles, dolphins, drowned, and phantoms were added. And then actually a lot of enchantments came with the trident, as channeling, loyalty, riptide, and impaling were all added that you can apply to your trident. Now in 4th place, we have the Nether update. I just said this is basically even with the update aquatic, just because they're very similar updates that only affect a certain part of the world. They did add 4 new biomes to the Nether, the first time that there have been biomes in the Nether. A completely new ingot, netherite, obviously the strongest for tools and armor in the game as of right now. Soulfire and Blackstone were also added for blocks. The Hoglin, the Strider, Piglin, and Zoglin were all mobs that roamed the Nether now. And also ruined portals in the overworld, which I think is a very, very good addition, and I'm glad they did it because it makes speedrunning and also just getting to the Nether in general a lot more easier. Overall, I really do like this update just because the Nether was kind of bland before it, and now it's a lot more alive, just like the overworld. This update just isn't as good as the next 3 that I'm going to name, so make sure you stick around for those too. And now the update that is going to receive the bronze medal 3rd place is going to be 1.18 Caves and Cliffs Part 2. This update is the definition of quality over quantity. I absolutely love how they made the mountains super tall, how they revamped the caves. This is everything that Part 1 was missing. The worlds just look more natural. Above y=0, it is still stone. However, below that it is deep slate, and deep slate is harder to mine. Also, mountains now have 6 sub-biomes. I can't stress enough how much I actually love this update. It's just the next 2 are just a little bit better, but I'm so glad that they changed how mountains are generated. Once again, if this update would have been combined with Part 1, then it definitely would have taken the 1st place, but I guess that's why they chose to do it this way. Coming in at our silver medal, this one may sound weird to you guys, but hear me out first. 1.14 Village and Pillage is our 2nd place spot. It is the opposite of the last one, as it has so much quantity, not as much quality, but that isn't a bad thing in my eyes. The reason it ranks so high is because it gave us so many more blocks to work with. The main feature of this update was now that villages were customized based on the biome that they were in. The new bamboo forest was added, which contains bamboo, obviously, and pandas. Also, sweet berries and foxes were added to the taiga biome, and many household blocks were added, and I don't really know what to call them other than that. Let me run through them real quick. Blast furnaces, campfires, cartography and fletching tables, grindstones, lanterns, looms, smithing tables, stone cutter, and crossbows were all added. Cats, pillagers, wandering traders, and ravagers were the mobs that were added. And finally, illager raids were added, where you would ring the new bell in the center of a village to alert the villagers to run into their houses. This one falls behind number 1, and if you pay attention to Minecraft, you will probably know what number 1 is going to be. Finally, coming in at number 1, the gold medal, one you've all been waiting for, is 1.9, the combat update. Regardless of whether you think this update is good or bad, it has had the biggest impact on the game. Everything revolves around combat in survival, multiplayer, all of that. And it's really the only update that changed mechanics instead of just adding stuff to the game. A complete revamp of how combat and PvP works, a new time system, and recharge that causes more damage. Axes now do more base attack damage than swords, but are slower attacking, which evens it out. Elytra and shields added, which just contributes to the fact that it's number 1 because these 2 are very important in everyday survival worlds. Dual wielding was also added, which I use for mining, having my pickaxe for my left click and then torch for my right click, which makes it way more efficient than having to switch every single time. This update was obviously mainly for combat, hence the name, but the end was also heavily changed as purpur, chorus fruits, end cities, and shulkers were all implemented in the end in 1.9. That's just gonna wrap it up for today's video. Thank you all for watching. I had a lot of fun making this, and I know I haven't uploaded in a very long time, but I'm trying to make uploads quicker. But yeah, anyway, just thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.